Hello there. Right, okay. I've called this video How to Make a Small Fortune from Restoring Classic Motorbikes. 5 things you need to know to make a small fortune from restoring classic motorbikes. Well, you know, the first thing you're going to need is a large fortune, because that large fortune will very shortly turn into a small fortune once you've started buying what you need to do these bloody things. What I'd say is, certainly in my limited experience, is you don't do this kind of thing to make money or do it as an investment. Some people do. Some people can kind of source really old bikes, sought after bikes, desirable bikes, and actually spend the time and money doing them up. And some of them will command really good money, but the market's dropped out of the classic kind of market for some reason. Probably lots of reasons behind that, which I don't understand. I think mainly it might be because of the rise of modern retros, I like the Enfield stuff, one of which I've got, the latest Triumph stuff. New bikes, got a bit of a nostalgic vibe about them, but they are modern bikes. They're not old bikes, and they're very different, really. And old bikes have a very special charm against them. So basically, 5 things. So the first thing you're going to need is quite a large fortune if you're going to look to make a small fortune out of it. And it will turn into a small fortune. Your large fortune will turn into a small fortune. The second thing I think you're going to need is a bike. I think we all kind of lust after British bikes. You know, when we think of classics, that might be what we think about. But what I'd suggest is that it's probably a good idea to look at Japanese classics from the 70s, certainly for your first restoration. The reason I say that is because these bikes Japanese bikes are so well engineered, particularly Hondas, and they're very plentiful in terms of supply and parts, that you should be able to do something with it. What I'd also recommend is looking for something that's kind of running. You don't want to, you're not going to find something concours, and don't worry about that. I'd be less inclined to worry about the cosmetics, because that can be sorted relatively easily. But something that's running, you don't want to give yourself a headache to begin with, so get something that's simple. I'd say something that's air-cooled, if possible something with a single carburettor. No, that's not always possible. And sort of baby steps, I guess. I know I got stung like this years ago. I thought, okay, well, I was always used to working on my bikes. I'll buy myself a classic to do up, and I bought a bike in a box. I bought a matchless G5. All the bits were in a box. It was incomplete, but you had the frame, the engine, the tank, and I got it into a kind of rolling chassis, but I didn't finish it, and I had to sell it on. And the person who bought it off, they had a relatively straightforward project to do. They finished it, they got it running, and they ended up doing a nice bike. But I didn't. Commitments, family kind of work and everything like that. So, the bikes I've worked on recently have all been just needing recommissioning, really, rather than restoration. So I'd say, certainly for your first one, go for something that you can do relatively straightforward. And I'd recommend a Japanese bike, particularly a Honda. Hondas are great for that. The third thing I'd say is you need a workshop manual. The Haynes one is the one that's commonly sold in this country. Climber the ones that are done around the US. You know, there's mixed feelings about the Haynes manuals. A lot of people really dislike them. And, you know, I have to say, I find them illogical sometimes, actually. I don't think the photographs are particularly good. I don't think the sequencing of the instructions is particularly good. But I guess, you know, it's the only thing you're going to need one. At least to give you some indication of kind of settings, torque settings, valve settings, you know, the recommended lubricants, fluids, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, a user guide. Don't buy a new one. Look for a second-hand one because it's going to get covered in oil anyway. So just look for a second-hand one. As I say, I've just bought one for the new Honda that's coming. Got it second-hand in Oxfam, 15 quid. That's great because the Haynes manual's new, about 30 quid new now actually. The other thing I'd say, okay, is in addition to a workshop manual, if you've never done this kind of stuff before, if this is a new departure, I would get yourself a tech book. This is the one that we were recommended to get when I did my City and Guilds course. It's by Haynes, and it's called the Motorcycle Maintenance Tech Book by Keith Wayhill. And it's a fantastic book. It's got really good illustrations in here, photographs, very clear colour photographs, simple instructions about how to do all the routine tasks on a bike. And this, you know, I use this all the time. This is a fantastic book. So a workshop manual, but also a tech book of some kind, really to give you the basics in mechanics. The other thing I'd say you need is plenty of boxes. Plastic boxes with lids is really good. I get these ice cream boxes. These what are they? 1.5 litre ice cream boxes. I acquired these over the course of a weekend. I get these. You can mark on them with a marker pen, and when you're dismantling, you can put everything in boxes, mark it all up, keep it all orderly. You'll need a few bigger ones, obviously, for bigger components, and some smaller ones. I find little plastic pate tubs or margarine tubs are really good for that. Something that is lid you can stack and you can write on, something like that. So that's about it. Obviously you need tools, but you don't need as many as you may think, really. And what I'd say is don't buy tools in advance, only buy them when you need them. I always think of this guy, you know, who's that guy? Oh God, what's his name? The guy who does all the strange restorations. Alan Milliard, is it? If you look in his garage, no, he's done all kinds of stuff, really. You know, it really is he's a peculiar man, a fantastic engineer, but his workshop is very basic. And he kind of cuts engines in halves and joins them together with a handsaw. But in terms of his tools, he doesn't go down the, you know, the red snap-on cabinet kind of thing. He's got very basic tools. He's got a lathe because he is an engineer. But yeah, I don't think you need an awful lot, really. Just buy it as you need it, really. I certainly haven't got an extensive tool kit. I've got a cabinet with some stuff in. I've got a few metric spanners, a socket set, some torque wrenches. And what I'd say you do need, certainly for Japanese, invest in some jizz screwdrivers. No, probably, but I like calling them jizz screwdrivers. Jizz screwdrivers, Japanese industrial standard screwdrivers. Don't try and use Phillips head or crosshead screwdrivers on the fastenings on your Japanese bike. You're going to chew up the kind of the heads. Get a set of jizz screwdrivers, JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard. You can get a small pack for about a tenner. You don't need to spend an awful lot of money. Get them on eBay, but you know, that's such a big thing. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you soon, and hopefully I'll be able to get up off the floor now.